Let's go to Michael in Portland, Oregon. What's up, Michael?
Hi, John. Thank you so much for taking my call. It's an honor to speak with you.
It's an honor to talk with you, my brother. What's up?
My family is falling apart, and my life is pretty much blown up here in the last couple of weeks, and I'm trying to get some guidance on where to go from here.
Man, let me know what's up, dude. I'm so sorry. What's going on?
So 7 years ago, I met this lady at work, and we became really good friends for about 2 years, and she was married to a man she had been with since she was a teenager that she had a kid with, and they were in a really unhappy marriage. And against my better judgment, I pursued her and started to date her. And 3 months after we started dating, we got engaged. I went head over heels. I borrowed $15,000 from my mother to put a down payment on a house. I moved Jessica and her son in with me, and we all lived as a family. And for the first 2 years, things were pretty good.
Okay, quick pause. And she was still married with a kid?
Yep.
Okay, all right, continue.
So we got pregnant and had a miscarriage. We got pregnant, had another miscarriage. We did that 4 times. Fifth try, we finally had our son about 2 years ago. And then a few months later, got pregnant again and had a daughter. So now we have 3 kids, and we're all living in the house. For the last 1.5 years or so, Jessica and I have kind of grown apart. There's been a disconnection in our relationship. And originally when I called your show, I was going to ask how to reconnect with her. But in the pit of my stomach, I always had a feeling that something was going on. And I found out that she cheated on me with somebody that she was working with. And it destroyed me. And we had a blowout, of course, about that and stuff. And we've decided that we're going to go to counseling and try to make things work. But she's going to move out and get her own place. And since we've had that blowout, she barely spends any nights at home. The disconnection is 100 times greater than it was before. And I'm just falling apart, John, and I don't know what to do. I screwed everything up, and I don't know what to do.
So, number one, thanks for calling. And you're right, this is a mess, okay?
It's a big mess. I've listened to every episode of your show, and I've never heard somebody with a mess this bad. Well, and I don't know how I went down this road so far.
You found somebody who would love you. And connection makes us do dumb things. And it gets us in over our head. And so does fantasy and a picture of this could work and we can figure this out. And someone that looks at us and says, I love you, it changes us, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
And so if you've listened to, so let me clarify a couple things. One, there's been several episodes that have never aired and probably never will. Either I didn't do a good job or some of the conversations were really heavy and just weren't appropriate for the show. And so your situation isn't the craziest, okay?
Oh.
When you were outlining it for me, when you watch this, my eyebrows were touching my hairline. Okay, I was like, let's have another. Oh, we'll have another kid. So yes, you've done a doozy, right? Let's make no mistake about it.
I wish I could have impressed you in a better way, John.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. If you were here, I'd still buy you a beer and some nachos, man. We'd hang out. So here's the thing. I'm gonna be super honest with you, and I know this is a heavy season of your life. Okay.
Okay, I really appreciate that.
This is completely full stop over. She's moved on. She's done it before, and she's done it to probably her husband or her person who's still her husband. There's probably somebody in between you two. And then there was you, and now the same script has played itself out again. And it's heartbreaking, and it is grief, and it is shame. It is all those things. But before you do anything else, before you go down the rabbit hole, what do I do? All this, you have to sit in it for a second and grieve. You got in over your head with somebody who told you something and they weren't honest with you and they never fully went all in on you. And for some reason, there's some story in your life that told you, if I just do the next right thing, then somebody will love me and then the next person will love me. And you've been trying to do the next right thing for a long, long time.
For my whole life, and it's never worked out.
Because that's not the problem. You're trying to fix an internal hole with an external plug, and that's not how it works. And so before any of the healing happens, before any of the what the crap do I do now happens, there's a sit in it and grieve. This sucks and this hurts. And now we got 2 kids that we brought into this. And we have a 3rd kid that's about to have their life blown up again. And I participated in this. And hey, like just talking to you for a couple of minutes, you've known all along this wasn't right. And I'm not talking about like any sort of like morality, like I was somebody else's wife. You know what I mean? Like you've known something's there. What kept you going?
You're right, though. You're right.
But it's haunted you. But the love has this picture around love that you've been chasing for a long time. It kept you like, I'll just go one more step and one more step, one more step. Tell me about that journey, man, because this didn't happen overnight.
What do you mean exactly?
Like, how do you get from, man, this person at work is really, she's super good looking. She's funny. She laughs at my jokes. She does that when I walk in. She puts her hand on my part of my arm and nobody touches me. Nobody's touched me in a long time. And it's not sexual, but I like it, right? She does all these things. And I know there's this big thing like, oh yeah, she has a husband and a family. But she says it's on the rocks. And I know that's probably not true, but I can't, like, I'm just going to go down this road. Like, and all of a sudden you wake up and you got 2 kids. Like what, tell me about that journey, man. What happened?
I don't know. Everything just seemed to happen so fast, and I knew it was wrong going in, but it felt so perfect. It felt so I felt like she was my soulmate. I was convinced. I think part of the problem was I was single for like 10 years before she came along.
That's right.
Didn't date anybody for like 10 years. I had other rough relationships that didn't end well. And I've been alone for a long time. And I think this, like you said, having somebody give me that kind of attention that I hadn't had in so long, maybe I misconstrued what I thought was love wasn't really love.
I don't think that as much as, if I spent a few hours with her, she probably didn't love who she had become in her other relationship. And you made her feel alive. You made her feel funny. You smiled at her in a different way, whatever it was. And I wouldn't say that she didn't love you. I think that would be a false mischaracterization. That would be me being mean. I don't think that. I don't think you're crazy. I think you were so enamored by the fantasy of the family, and she's beautiful, and she chose you after all these years of being lonely, that you were willing to sacrifice your values. You were willing to sacrifice. You knew it was going to end in ash. I mean, we know that, and it just sits in the back of our head and gnaws slowly at us. And for most of us, when we are in situations like that, we know it's going to end poorly. We try to outrun that clawing, that fire that's burning through the back of our brains, and it causes us to suffocate the thing that we're trying to protect, right? It causes us to hold a little too tight, and we get a little too crazy about it. We get a little too intense, and then that person's, they're on to the next, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened too.
So here we find ourselves. And here, imagine like you and I are sitting on a curb, man, and I'm lighting your cigarette with you, and the neighborhood behind us is on fire, right? So I'm sitting here with you. Here we find ourselves. Step 1 is to sit down and grieve this. It just sucks. It hurts. You've been lonely for a long time, and now you're staring at it again.
And now I've got these kids that are in the house like all the time, and it's hard to be a good dad because I'm just so upset that I've let them down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get that.
They don't deserve it. It's not their fault. It's my fault. And I don't know how to get past that. I just keep beating myself up because I've wrecked them too. I feel like I've wrecked them too, and I know I haven't. They're 2 and 1, but still, I have to a point because they're not going to have that fantasy.
Yeah, and so you got to put a period at the end of that fantasy, and then you have to ask the scariest, hardest question that any of us have to ask. And you're not the only one, brother. You have to get in a long line for this question. What am I going to do next?
And I have no idea.
I'm telling you right now, you have an opportunity to stand up and be the greatest father these 2 little ones could have ever known. And their mom has chosen to step out. Great. I'm not going to talk bad about mom. Mom's going to go do her own thing. And we were never married in the first place. And so I'm going to have to get an attorney and figure out custody stuff. And I'm going to fight like hell for my 2 little kids. And I'm going to work real hard to make this a stable home and to make sure we've got stable care. And I'm going to go about my life raising these 2 little ones because I love them. And for the first time in my life, I'm going to go talk to somebody. Because I have
an appointment scheduled on Thursday.
Attaboy, man. That's because
of you. You've helped me so much.
I didn't do anything,
without you
dude.
even knowing.
I run my mouth on a podcast. You're the one that looked at those 2 little kids and said, enough's enough. I got to be different. I got to heal so I can do this thing differently.
I really want to be a good dad, John. That's all I've ever wanted. My dad walked out on us, and I never had a dad. And all I told myself my whole life was like, if I ever have kids, I'm never going to do what my dad did. I'm going to be there all the time for everything, and I am now. And she's gone all the time. She's gone for nights at a time, and she doesn't spend the time with them like she should.
Yep. So
and I'm never going to be like that. I'm always going to be there.
I'll ask you that. I want you to state it boldly. Are you ever going to walk out on these kids?
Absolutely not.
Then listen to me. Listen to me. You are the man who stops the forest fire of trauma raging through your family because of what your dad did. It stops with you. Is this how we would have drawn it up, that you had 2 kids with a married woman? No. Well, that's not how we drew it up. But here's where we are. So tomorrow starts today. I will not leave, period. Is it going to be tough on these kids because their mom's going to be in and out of their life? Yep. I will not leave. I will be here. And I will get down on all 4s, and I will learn to laugh. And I don't know how to mix formula. I'm going to figure it out. I don't know how many diapers a day? I'm going to figure it out.
It's about 15, John.
God, they're like machines, man. They keep coming and coming and coming. Now, if you and I had been friends for 20 or 30 years, and you were over at my house telling me this, I'd be like making fun of you. I'd be all over you. I'm not doing that to you. I'm sitting with you right now, okay? Because this sucks. And and me beating you up there's no reason for that. You're in it now. Where I'm going to stay on you is this. You cannot move forward chasing anymore. You got to stop and own what happened. You got to own the stories. You got to own the fact that your dad left you, and you've been chasing for somebody to love. You've been trying to solve what is wrong with me for a long time.
Is it possible that maybe there's not something wrong with me?
There's 100% not something wrong with you. You've done stupid things. There's nothing wrong with you. Your dad left because something was wrong with him, not you.
And my fiance's leaving because there's something wrong with her.
She's searching for something, brother, that has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
She's trying to feel alive, and she has put alive. She has chosen that as a feeling. She's chosen that as a destination, as in a person. And the moment that she doesn't feel alive, she has chosen to not do things in her life and her relationships that keep her alive and allow other people to help keep her alive. She goes to the next. And you know what? She's going to find somebody else that's going to be a shiny new toy, and then she's going to be on to the next after that.
What do I do right now? Because she's still living in the house with me, and I have to face this every day. Should I be trying to push her out of the house? Or one of my friends said, change the locks and put her crap outside. I'm like, I'm not doing that to the mother of my children. At the end of the day, she's always the mother of my children. I'm never going to treat her like that.
So,
no matter what she does.
My friend Dave gave me this quote, and I like it. And it's not technically your situation, but it's close enough. The moment somebody files for divorce, it becomes a business transaction with a period at the end. And I treat all of my business partners with respect. I tip well. I pay on time. I take care of people. And if I screw something up, I say I'm sorry. So that's not a recipe to be a jerk or to be an idiot or to be disrespectful. But it's a transaction now. And business transactions start with hard conversations. And so next up, first thing you're going to do is you're going to call an attorney and you're going to let them know what happened. And that's going to be expensive. And that's just the season you're in. Okay. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to tell your wife, hey, your girlfriend, we need to have a conversation about the future. And you tell her, I know this is over now. Let's call it. I would like full custody of these 2 kids, if that's what you want. And
that is what I want.
I would like full custody of these kids. I'm willing to take on the burden of this stuff. I will sign it away. Or if you will sign the pieces of paper, I've already went and met with a lawyer. And I will not be in a relationship where you're married to one, living with me and dating a third. I draw the line there. And it's time for me to have some relational boundaries because I'm modeling what love looks like to a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. I'm modeling what love and wellness and wholeness and relationship look like to a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. And this isn't the model I'm going to give them.
Okay.
And by the way, you, Michael, are worth more than this.
Doesn't feel like it sometimes.
I know. But you are.
Okay.
Do you believe me?
No.
That's fine. I don't lie. So you can, I exaggerate the size of the fish I catch usually. That's for real. But I don't lie.
Okay.
And you're worth more than this.
Okay.
And if you will put the work in and heal, you'll find somebody who loves you. And those two little knuckleheads, all of you, even the weird, gnarly parts, even the wonky parts, even the parts where she's like, wait, what? You had two, what? And you're like, I know.
I'm as wonky as they come.
Hey, brother, trust me. People invite me into their closets for a living. It's what I do. We're all wonky. But you're worth being well, my brother. I'm so proud of you for making the call. Moving forward, it's about three things. Number one, you protect those kids. Come hell or high water, you protect those kids. Number two, you reach out and you start the healing process. Period. Number three, you start learning in short. I mean, your runway for real short for this. You got to develop new boundaries now. Here's what I will tolerate. Here's what I will not tolerate. And when your girlfriend kicks and screams and yells and, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're judging me after all that. I was wrong. And I'm doing things differently now. Starting now. And the fourth and final thing is you got to get a couple of buddies in your area that are going to walk alongside you, that will show up at 2 a.m. when you're pulling your hair out because you don't know how to stop a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old from crying at the same time. Somebody that will come over and help you babysit. Somebody that will bring chips and queso over and help rock one kid while you're changing the other. Like, you need a couple of guys, men and women, I don't care. People will show up and be there for you because you're going to need other people in this season of your life. Okay? Thank you for being brave. Thank you for calling. Tomorrow starts right now. You're worth it, brother. Make the call.